Hello there and welcome to ADcraft. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this fantastic cyberpunk style building in your world. So don't go anywhere and let's get on with the video. Here are the materials you'll need for the finished build. Now some of these might change based on how you decide to do things like the stained glass, but everything else should be fine. Once you've got all of your blocks, the first thing to do is to start by laying out the floor plan. Now there is a slightly unusual floor plan on this build, but I've highlighted in the different colours what the blocks are going to be for the walls, and as we go through the build then you'll be able to see how these interact with each other. But yeah, just pause the video now and copy this floor plan out into your world ready to go. Once you've got your floor plan all laid out, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at this back section here in the grey concrete and this side section here. Now for these I'm just going to show you what you need to do. For the entire build we are going to, for ease of building, build up all of the walls and then knock the windows out once we've built the walls up, just because it's easier than putting them in as we go. But each of these are going to come up 9, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to build that up to that height on both of these sections and then I will come back to you. Once you've got the side and the back wall in place, then we're going to look at this front section. So again, this comes up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's the same height here and here. And then on the front section here, these two, we're going to bring these both up to a height of 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more, 5. And then this here is going to be a small flat roof that's going to come all the way along like so. And we're going to build this up as well, and I'll fill in the front again off camera, and we'll also then fill this section in here just to give it a nice base, and fill all of the interior part in here as well. So this will give you a double stage box where you've got this bit which will be the entranceway and then this bit that will match up with the rest of the walls. So I'll fill that in and then show you where to go. Once you've filled in the front, then you'll have this little alcove in here, and next we're going to look at these sections that we've marked out in black. So for each of these we're going to come up, and it's quite difficult to see the black concrete on camera, but we're going to come up to the same height as we've got, if I can fly, there we go. So we're going to come up to the same height, and then we're going to come for a further 6 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that'll take the total height of this black section to 15 blocks. So yeah, wherever we've got the black on the floor, then just bring this all up to the same height. With these big dark pillars in place, the next thing to do is just 1 block above the this grey concrete where we've got the black concrete, and again it's quite difficult to see on camera, so I'll move around. We're just going to fill on this side all the way up, and I'll do that now like so. So we've got a big black wall on this side, however, and on the front we're going to do something a little bit different. So we're just going to connect up round here and round at the top as well. And then we're going to do the same on the front here. So what we're going to have then is these 2 lines running across, one at the top and one at the bottom, and then the last thing that we're actually going to do is we're going to knock out this concrete that we placed in between these. So we've got a big corner section that is open. Now this is going to be for the big LED style lit up sign, so we just don't need anything in there. Next stage we're going to look at is just building up this extra bit, and then we will have a lot of the main parts of the structure in place. Now for the final section of the this build, then we are going to bring this up to the same height that we've got the blocks currently, and then like we did previously we're going to come up again. So we're going to come up another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, bring everything up to this height, which is a total height of 20, so it should be 5 blocks above here. and just bring that all the way round. Now where we've got these lights, these are just to show where they're going to be. Just you can block up and go over these, just leave it so you know, mark where they are, or so you know where they are, because we're going to put some of these shroom lights into the walls in a bit. But yeah, first of all, just build up the basic structure, and as I said, we can knock out any holes or things that we need in a little bit. So I'll come back to you once that's all done. With this cyan terracotta section filled in up to a height of 20 all the way around, we are going to fill in just the gap now, but we're only going to fill in the gap from one level, well, the same level as this top black concrete. So we'll bring this in, and yeah, we'll fill in everything right the way up to the top here, just to fill in this gap, and then we'll start punching out some of the windows. Adding some windows now and the doorway to this first section. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come one block across, and then we're going to punch out a 2 wide gap, and that's going to be 4 high. And then inside we're just going to add an extra pillar here across, and then we're also going to add in another line across here. So this is going to be our doorway, and then we'll have some lighting above that doorway. Next to that doorway we're going to come across, leave one gap, and then punch out a 3x3 hole here. So we've got a nice big window in this. And all of these windows are going to be 3 high in this build. So we then come up level with the bottom here, and directly in line with the door punch out a 3x2 space. And then we're actually going to do something a little bit different here. We're not going to match that window. We're just going to go by another 3x2 here in this space there. Now along to the side wall, we've got a nice 3x3 that we're going to punch, and then right next to it, leaving a 2 block gap from that, we're going to punch another 3x3. Above this we're going to mirror that, just one above it, and have a 3x3 here. And here we're going to do something again a little bit different. We're going to punch out just this L shape here, because we're going to have a vent coming out of this window, so we don't necessarily need that to be covered. You can punch all of that out and just have the vent sitting physically over the window, but yeah, I'm just leaving us the gaps that we need. On this final back wall, again, just a 3x3 at the bottom, a 3x2 at the bottom rather, leave one gap and then a 3x2 here, and that is all of the windows here in this section. Now we're going to go and put in place the shroom lights and the cyan concrete. For the shroom lights, what we're going to do is we're going to come up 1, 2, knock out these blocks as you go, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks up. Then on this 6th block, we're literally just going to run this as a channel all the way around the build, right the way through on all of this cyan concrete, cyan terracotta even, and also through this black concrete to this edge. So where you've got this corner, and again, apologies, it's quite difficult to see, but we're then going to just run the shroom lights all the way around here in this channel. What we're then going to do once we've done that is find the top of our build here with the black concrete, come out to the middle in line with this, and move 1 block down, and then bring this round and down to meet up. And then the final thing we're going to do with these shroom lights is we're going to bring this itself round here to this other side. We're going to find the middle, which should be 7 blocks in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bring this up and match this round just like so. And then once that's in, that will be all of the shroom lights in place. The next thing to do is to take your cyan concrete, and now I'm using cyan concrete here, but you can use any other colour variant you want, or any other block variant, but for me I just quite like the cyan. What we're literally going to do is just run an outline 1 block out all the way outside and over the top of this, so it entirely surrounds the shroom lights that we've got, and that is on all of these sections like so. So what you'll have is basically a column going round like this all the way round. I'll just finish off the front very quickly to show you what it looks like there. So when you look at it from the front, you'll be able to see something like this. But yeah, that is repeated all the way around. Wherever you've got a shroom light, just above, to the sides and below, wherever you've got the cyan terracotta, place your cyan concrete. Now the one thing that we also need to do, once we've done that all the way around the sides, is just to connect up this final shroom light to the middle at the back here, like so, and just finish off the concrete placement like this. And then that's what the back of the build will look like, and then the side will look like this. And next step will be to knock out some of the windows. The height we're going to be knocking out in this is going to be too high, so what we're going to do is we're going to come one block in and we're going to knock out 3 by 2 here, then we come across and then we should have another 3 by 2 here, and then one final 3 by 2 here. So that is the shape, and as you can see that this lines up with this pillar that we've got in the middle. What we can then do is go up to this next section, and we're also going to knock out the windows here, and we're going to start one block above like so and knock out a 3 by 2 and do the same here, so 3 by 2, and then on this we're going to come up, and the final things that we're going to do are we're going to knock out a 3 by 2 by going up one again like this, so there's 2 blocks at the top all the way across, and that leaves us one final space for us to come up here, and then leaving the 2 blocks at the top again and 2 blocks beneath, we get the final 3 by 2 window. We then do exactly the same on this side, the same heights, so we've got 3 by 2 here, come up 2 blocks, 2 more blocks, and then that sets out all of the windows in this section. We are going to do a big window in here, but we'll add that in at the end. Yeah, now we've got the main sections of windows into the build. Now to look at some of the details, and first thing we're going to look at is this big billboard on the side. Get your sea lanterns and bring your sea lanterns in using this side to start, so the side just above the doorway. It'll give you something to place it against, and we're just going one block behind the actual black concrete, and we're bringing that all the way to this edge, so right the way across, just as far as the window goes. We're going to be bringing this round and just filling this entire space up to here with these sea lanterns like this, and just fill in the middle bit, and then we'll start looking at the decoration on the front of that. In terms of the decoration for this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be leaving a border right the way around and just creating some 2 by 2 shapes. Now I've chosen to mix up some light blue and some blue stained glass in order to do this. You can use any colours and any patterns, the key thing just being that we're just using this strip that goes through the middle, and what we're going to do is just randomly really start placing some blocks around in here and mixing up some of the light blue and the blue glass, and by doing that in a way similar to this, then you get something that looks quite cyberpunky in terms of what your design is, and this can be anything that you want. So there you can see I've just randomly placed some blocks. You can copy this if you want exactly, but yeah, just any design that you want there. Now choose a contrasting colour, and I've chosen yellow and orange stained glass, again to keep it nice and colourful, and just then fill in the gaps that you've got at random with these different colours. So take one colour first and just fill this in with some blocks every so often, and once you've done that with one of the colours, then simply go back with the other colour itself and fill in all of the rest of the gaps, and what you get is this really nice effect of a nice bright vibrant screen. Now once the RTX comes through onto Java, this will look even better, but it still looks pretty cool now, and I'll show you everything at night and in the default textures once we're done. But yeah, just finish these ones off, fill it all in, as I say, any pattern that you like, But yeah, you get something that looks really, really cool like this going around the side of the build. Adds a real cyberpunky feel to it, and looks really good. Now we have got some work to do on the roofs here, and then we're going to also put the second massive billboard that goes on this section. Now for these roofs, what we're going to be using is stone for this bottom section here, and we're going to be placing these as stone slabs and placing them as bottom slabs here. So this will make the main portion of the roof entirely mob proof as well, which is always quite useful when you're building. But we're just going to completely cover this entire section here, right the way up. Again, even I can't see the edge of the concrete there. But yeah, I'll just show you what it looks like around there. Going to fill that entire section in with the stone slabs. Then in this section here, we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to come at again the bottom slabs and place the andesite right the way through the build. Now what we are going to do is something ever so slightly different here once we've placed these in, so I will finish placing these in quickly. Really can't click today, so once we've placed these in like so, at these two ends, I'm just going to use slabs, but you can use a full block. We need to create these as a whole block because we're going to stand the next sign on top of this. So as you'll see, we've come in one block here, we've come in one block here, and we've created a platform ready for us to start placing our next big sign. With your roofs in place, we take a couple of anvils and we place the anvils in this orientation on top of those two plinths that we've just had. Then you'll need to shift click the first blocks so that you can actually place them. We're gonna connect right the way across with some sea lanterns again, and we're going to create a billboard that's similar to the one beneath, where it's going to be 4 blocks high and complete like this. Just fill that in very quickly, and then we're going to surround this right the way round using some birch trapdoors. Now with the birch trapdoors, because this is 4 high, you can use the orientation of the trapdoors to kind of get the clasps going together. And then across here, just place them however you wish to place them. Just place them like so, just changing direction there so it looks nice. But also one thing that we do need to do is to place them underneath as well. And that's a little bit more tricky. What we just do is we need to shift click and bring these in through, and what we're just looking for is the edge of the blocks themselves. Now that gives us our basic billboards, and then we're going to do something exactly the same that we did on the side, just again placing some random colours, and again I've chosen just some orange and some yellow to be a bit different here. So we've got those there like this, and we've just created whatever you think like is a good shape there. So for that one we'll just do this, and then you can either create the same shape or something entirely different on the other side. So I think it was something like this and like that. But yeah, what we're then going to do is take our grey stained glass, and we're just using one colour here, but again you can use the two-tone colour if you wish, to give it a bit of contrast, to just add some darkness around it. We're just going to fill all of this in on both sides. And with that done on both sides, and again I won't show you all of it, what we're then going to do is take a set of the oak trapdoors, and we're going to place these all the way up here, right the way across like this, on both of these sides. So we've got the blocks that we can place against, and that's going to give us a nice surround that you can also see the light through on your build, and the same right the way across the top and the bottom like so. So finish off that, and then I'll show you what it all looks like. So this, when you've added the trapdoors around the edge and made sure those are all closed, the reason that you add these trapdoors is because if you don't, then you get these gaps in the actual stained glass panes themselves, so it's useful to do that. What we're going to do is, like I mentioned, add the big window here. So what we're going to do is come in level with this block. We're going to come up one block above it, and we're just going to punch out a 2x4, 2x4, not 2x5 space there, and then we're going to fill that with the grey stained glass. And then we're also going to go around in a minute and I'll show you how to do the other windows. For the window sections on the grey concrete bits, first thing we're going to do is make sure we add some doors in. So we're just going to be using some of the lovely new warped doors now. Above those warped doors we're going to place a couple of sea lanterns in this gap that we've left, and then we can use some light blue or whatever stained glass that you fancy to actually go across that. Now in these windows here, all of these gaps, we're just going to be using the same colour scheme that we've used. So whatever you've used in your main lettering or characters here, then just mixing that up, just using some random combinations of the blue I'm going to be using and the light blue stained glass, just to actually get something that looks a bit cool and funky like that. Again, any pattern that you like, doesn't really matter what you're doing, just make sure that you're happy with it at the end. And let's go one here and blue. But yeah, fill in all of these grey windows in exactly the same style, so you've got something that looks like this, where you've got a kind of a bit of a digitally looking glass pattern going on around there. And then I will show you the other windows as well, which we're going to do in a very similar way, but this time we're using the other colours scheme. So we're just using the yellow and the orange here. So fill these in any way that you see fit, just to give you a bit of interest in this, because otherwise you do get some quite big flat sections, and this gives you a bit of colour and a bit of interest when you're actually looking through these. So I'll fill these all in and show you what the windows all look like. Just noticed, in fact, that there is one window that is missing on this side, which needs to match the one at the back. So yeah, just pop that out whilst I remember. But yeah, fill all these windows in with the glass, and then I will show you the finished result. I'm inside the build now, as I'm going to be showing you how to put the floors in, and the first bit that we're going to put the floors in is this cyan terracotta section, because there are different height floors for the two sections. This bit over here has got a different floor height to this bit over here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring the floors in up until this separation between the black concrete and the cyan terracotta, and we're going to build the stairs out starting here, and then using the half slabs coming all the way round through the build like so. It does go in front of the window a little bit, but that's not too much of an issue. There's plenty of windows in this build, and then it'll bring it up to this level. Now this level is one block beneath these shroom lights, and that is where the first floor will be, and we'll bring that out like this and connect this up. And what we're then going to start doing is simply doing the same again, working our way up, and make sure that that's the right double height when you've got these stairs going in, and you will be able to pass underneath these, so it won't cause you to bash your head or anything. And then step this up again, and I'll just show you for this floor as well, and then we carry on right the way, sort of sneaking all the way up to the top. Where we're going with this floor, the level should match up, and that brings us to this point, level with the bottom of these windows. So when you bring the floor out like so, and you're standing on it, you'll have this nice double window that you're looking out of with your character here, and then you'll have all of this nice space to play with. But yeah, carry that on again exactly the same way. Once you've got your floor in place, we're going to go up one level again, and we've just got this nice spiral staircase in this bit right the way up to the top, where the top floor will then equally be exactly this same level here with the windows above it. So anywhere where you've got the base of a window, that's your floor height, and it gives you plenty of space, plenty of headroom. But yeah, just carry on these spiral stairs up, and I will show you what that looks like. With all of the floors in place here, you'll get these nice edges that work here. So you've got the stairway coming up, and then gets to the top one, which is just above here, so you've got a nice view out over there, and this one here is the final one there. Now in terms of the levels for the other side, as I mentioned, it is a slightly different thing, but it's using the same concept. So wherever we've got the bottom of a window like this, that is the edge of the build. So we bring this all the way around like so on this level, and as you'll see, there's a gap here. So what we're going to do is use some half slabs to just bridge that gap. So we've got a nice step down coming right the way through on the edge of this concrete block. That means that then brings us to the right level for the rest of this build. So again, it's level with these sea lanterns, it's level with all of the build right the way around like this. So we'll fill in this floor in a minute. When we come up, again, we've got a slight difference here. So the level that we're looking for here is the one that's just under this black concrete. So where we've got the exposed bit there of the grey concrete, we will just fill that in, and that will then be the basis again for where we're coming out. So again, we've got that half slab step coming between the two levels like this, and this will be then the floor for the next level like that. The other thing that you will want to do whilst you're here, once you've filled this in, is you've got this strange little gap underneath the sea lanterns. If you wish, you can just bring that down so it's level with the floor using some black concrete. But if you were turning this into a practical base, then you might want to actually put some chests in that space, because this is a transparent block above it, so the chests would open fine. But yeah, I will fill that in, and then that's all of the flooring done. Again, likewise, you've got a little gap here which you might want to fill in. So that'll be all of the flooring done. The one other thing that you might want to consider is how you access the roof. There's a couple of different options. The one that I'm going to go for here is just add some ladders along this wall where there's no windows, and just pop that out through the top here, and just add a trapdoor in the right place so that you can climb up, and that gives you the access to this roof. The other option is, of course, you could create a step down and put a doorway in here, and so you step down to the roof from there. But yeah, either one of those or both, whichever is your choice. I'm just going to fill these floors in for you, and then we will get to the exterior detail, because that's all that I'm going to be doing on the interior. Now we get to the outside of the build and the decoration. This is the thing that really finishes the build off and brings it to life. So we're going to be doing the same thing a couple of times around the build. So we're going to be creating some extractors, basically, first and foremost, and we're going to be using some bone blocks to do this. And those bone blocks are then going to have some jungle trapdoors placed, so they look like little outlet vents coming out like this. And we've got one here. We're going to place another one on the side of the build here, and where you place these is kind of up to you a little bit. There is a space that I've left for one there, but otherwise you've got this one, which is basically just slightly offset just above this on this side, like this. And then we're also going to have another one on this wall, just doing a similar thing. Just pick some space next to this, and then have your extractor coming out from the other side. So these are like little air conditioning units. Now another thing that we're going to do in terms of the air conditioning units is we're going to come to the roof here, and we're going to choose some places that we're going to place some more of these. So we're going to come in one block, and we're going to knock out a 4x4, and then we're going to come across another two and knock out another 4x4. And we're going to take any block that you like. I'm going to be using a blast furnace because I like the look of it. We place two blast furnaces that way. We place another two that way, and then holding shift, we then place 4 rails on top, and it creates this nice looking connection pattern that's been done many times. I didn't come up with this, no idea who did, but it looks great. And then we're going to be doing the same thing on this other side. However, what we're going to do on this side is we're going to add, shift clicking, a second layer of blast furnaces coming through like this, just to give a bit of height variation on this. And this is why I use the blast furnaces, because you've then got this nice metallic look on the side of the block itself. Come up and place, again shift clicking on top so you don't open the UI, your rails to get, again, another extractor. We don't need anything on this because, again, we've got lots of the space taken up by this banner, but that just gives a bit more interest to the build itself. Now, again, the next part of this is a bit more adding it as and where you see fit. What we're going to do is we're going to, in a very cyberpunk way, add some cables coming up, and for this I'm using the nether brick walls just because I like the look of them. They fit in with the color scheme quite well, but you can use any walls that you like. It does need to be walls though to get the best look. What we're going to do is we're just going to run these up and across onto the roof, connecting things up like this, just in any way that you fancy really. And one of the things that we're going to do here is actually just bring it across like this and connect it up this way just to add a bit more interest there, and bring it then up this wall, connect it across here and then up into this unit. So again, you can see it's all, then you've got what looks like a big cable coming up. Now we're only going to be putting the cables on this side of the build rather than anything specifically on the cyan terracotta version, just again because it looks like then you've got a clean section running through. So absolutely anywhere that you want to put these, really, just mix them up and the way that they connect up so they don't just look normal and don't look like they're uniform is best, because they are cables. Just making sure that when you do come to some of these units you are connecting those through. The other thing to note is it's probably worth thinking of these as kind of power cables, and then thinking where would need power. Well, you'd need power in your big unit here, wouldn't you? So let's get a cable coming up and connecting through to this. Let's get another one coming up here. Again, bring it up and across and back across, and bring it round and connecting in from this side as well. So anything like that, like I say, just that looks like cables. There's no kind of rhyme or reason to it. There is going to be a world download for this world in the description, and that is going to link through to my Discord channel where I put all of the world downloads for any of my builds. So you can actually then copy exactly what you want from the build if you want to just copy the place that I've put these cables, or you can just put them anywhere that you like really. When you do get up onto the roof like this, to make sure you can connect it through, just add the second half of that slab round, but otherwise you can connect it through from the top or from the side or from the bottom, basically anywhere that you fancy. So yeah, knock yourself out, and I will show you what I've done with these once that's finished. Then there's only a few other little bits of decoration to go. We're on to the final touches now, and the first thing that we're going to do with these is just using some birch trapdoors to add a little bit of differentiation of the doorway there, so when you see that it kind of stands out a bit more. We're going to take some cyan glass, and again I won't do all of this on camera, and we're going to fill in this gap wherever we've got the shroom lights right the way around the build, like this. Anywhere where we've got a flat surface on this particular area, we're going to then place some iron trapdoors, like this. And also around here, obviously you can't place them where you've got the walls, but everywhere else you can just fill these in. And on this side as well. And this also helps, apart from with the aesthetic, it also helps to stop anything from spawning on top of these little gaps. Likewise up here you can put some carpet if you want. But the final thing we're going to do here is we're going to put an antenna. So we're going to knock out a couple of blocks like this maybe. Pop in some of the andesite, the polished andesite slabs. Come up with some like this, and you can do this any way that you want really. Again, it's another one of these, just play around with it a little bit until you're happy, but just be aware that certain things will connect up whereas other things won't. So if you've used the iron bars, then the walls won't connect to a fence like this, but they will connect to an iron bar. So yeah, just try and create some different looks and some different areas that are coming up to give you a sort of a decent height antenna really. You can also use some end rods on here so that you can basically get the full look and have a bit of lighting on the top, on the roof. And yeah, just like I say, however you want to do this, do it, but just come up with something that gives you like a little antenna section like this for the edge of your build. If you didn't want to use the nether brick walls, nether brick fences even, you could go for something like a birch fence, which you might prefer the look of like that. So yeah, gives you just a little bit of an antenna and the final look on the roof. And now that is the build complete. So I will now show you in the default textures once I've finished filling in the glass and also in the shaders. So here we have the finished build with the default textures on. So as you can see, the texture pack I use is just a high resolution version of the default textures anyway. And all of the textures do work really well together still. You may want to change out, as I say, the nether brick walls for something else, maybe some blackstone, but blackstone wouldn't really go too well with the black concrete, hence why I used something that was just a little bit more pipey. But yeah, here's a different colour variant that I've done. Obviously, very similar build, ever so slightly different dimensions, but just to show you what you can do by using some of the purple terracotta instead of the cyan. But basically the same build, and then I've just put it there for context next to another Cyberpunk style build. But now I will show you everything in the shaders. Now I've got the shaders on and I'm using BSL for the shaders. Yeah, I think the build looks really good where you've got the extra light coming through. Really happy with how that looks. What I will do now is just show you at night time, because obviously with Cyberpunk it's really important that you get the lighting right. So I'll just now pop on the nighttime for you. And now that it's dark, you can see the builds really shine through. You can do some more lighting on the inside of the builds to give the view of things coming through the windows, but as you move around the build itself, you can see that it's all really well lit up and really fits into the Cyberpunk style. So yeah, all that's left to be said is thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button. Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more of the builds in a Cyberpunk style, then please do let me know. We've got another potential build over here that we could do as well. But yeah, as I say, thank you very much for watching. If you don't already subscribe, do hit that subscribe button and make sure you ding dong that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And with that being said, I will see you next time on ADcraft.